How's it, Boots and Bootettes? It's your host Tillotson here. We're going to be doing some alignment on a Tillotson T4 car today. So to do this, we're going to need a few tools. So I'm going to invite my cameraman over here and give you a nice guide through our wonderful total tools. So the first thing we're going to need, obviously you need some lasers for the alignment. Then we got a lacquer 5 Allen key here that's going to be used to loosen the kingpins with the 13. We need a 3. Make sure it's a nice and small one, or else we're going to have issues a little bit later. Obviously, to get our hubs off, we're going to need our 22 socket with a ratchet. This is going to be used to adjust the caster, nice long skew pliers. And then obviously our ruler. Shout out Total Tools. Let's get going. Alright, so let's start on step 1, which is going to be taking off the hubs and then putting on the lasers. Like a loosening. Shout out to our boots at Liquimoli for the partnership with Ice Motorsport, and we're going to be using it just to clean off here. So quick look through here. Wonderful little spray. Don't need to use much. And just like that, ready to go. You can do it. No, this one I did not clean that well. Alright, now that it's lacquer clean here, we want to put on our lasers. So you bring it around this side, have a quick look here. It's really important that the steering wheel is straight. So we're going to get it nice and straight for your oaks. That's perfect. Now we come to this side. Whatever you're going to be running on the front end, we need to run that amount of spaces. So we're going to be starting off on 2, and then we're going to be putting it on. Please guys, right? Okay. So don't put the right and the left, it's going to mess everything up. So now we can put it on. Very important, don't move the steering wheel during this process. Now we check, come check this, cameraman. That needs to be in the middle. If it is not, it's going to mess up your alignment. So yeah. Now I'm struggling. There we go. In between those two lines. Then we repeat the same thing on the other side. Alright, so now that we've got our lasers on, you can check lacquer here. That one was off. If we have a look here, you can see the whole idea of the lasers is you want to be basically in the same point on both sides. So looking now, when it's at the same point, you can see that one is completely toe in, which is not what we want, as well as this side. So we're going to be aiming for a neutral setup here. We want to be run about half toe out and neutral. So now we're going to get to changing that. Alright, okay, so what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be loosening the tie rods here. You're going to want to grab your 12 and 13. If you're lucky enough, they'll be Total Tools. The 12 is going to slide nicely onto the tie rod, and then we're going to be putting the 13 onto the rose joint. You want to give it a nice loosening. Just be very careful, easy to hurt yourself, and then slide this nut all the way to the end of the rose joint. And you can repeat that on this side and both of the others. So for our next little section here, we're going to be using a ruler. It's 30 centimeter ruler. You can use whatever. You can use millimeters, inches for you Americans. But yeah, so you want to put it in the middle of the steering column here. Check, just like so. You'll see the laser there also. Alright, so now Boots, what we want to do is we want to start turning the steering wheel. So you're going to turn it through until you see, boom, the lowest point. There, you can check it. It's on about 15 oaks. So what we want to do now, most of the time, see if I carry on going, it's going to go up. So back to the minimum. Most of the time, they're going to be running around about 25. So I'm going to turn this one up to 25 by turning the tie rods. Remember, I've now loosened my tie rods. You can check, they're lacquer loose. So now, boom, minimum there. See now, it's still a little bit low, 25 on that line between the 2 and 3. And then we're going to go and repeat this on the other side. Boom, 25. See, minimum points, 25. Okay. Alright, so now what we're doing is we're basically checking they must be in the exact same place in regards to the lines going downward, the toe lines. So if you check this one here, you can see we're just after the middle one. And then if we go to this one, it's basically the exact same thing. If I just adjust it there, you can see it's just after that one. From this point, you're going to grab a lekker nice handful of your steering wheel, and we're going to move it now to half out. So when I'm doing that side where you're watching, we'll be moving the opposite side. So from that side, you can see this one moving, okay? We're going to move it nicely to half. Same thing goes for that side. So come over this way. Now I'm going to move the tie rod, you're going to get it onto half. So this is probably the stage in the video where you're a bit confused. So that's it's your problem, so you're going to probably have to watch it again because I know I explained that pretty perfectly. So we're going to put the ruler down now that we've checked the turns, and now our problem is getting the actual angle of the camber. So if you come through to this side, our cameraman's Matthew, by the way, just remember that. So Matthew, you're going to check here. So now that one's pretty perfect, right? It's lekker. That one's in the middle, half out, neutral. So half out on the toe, neutral on the camber. And when you come over to this side, we have a bit of an issue. It's all the way down. So a common issue with these Tillotsons is that the actual kingpin pinches the spacer and it actually makes it different. So we're going to fix that. Alright gents, there's two ways to adjust your camber angle. With this specific situation, it's because it's pinched. But there's another situation. If you come over here, Matthew, you can see that it's fairly simple. The neutral setup, there's these two dots on the actual washer here, and those two dots need to be right there. Now, if we turn this, I'm going to show you what it does. Alright, so what we're doing next, I'm just explaining how to adjust that camber angle. Remember, this one is pinched, but there are instances where you actually want to adjust the angle positive or negative depending on your tire wear. Let me show you how to do that. So, with this camber washer, what you're going to do, it's actually a caster washer, just mind that. What we're going to do is you can turn it this way or this way, and let me show you what that does. First thing, we need to loosen this kingpin, because it won't turn without it. Okay. It's a bit hectic there, I'm not going to lie. Alright folks, so now we're going to bring out our other tools. You got the 3 Allen key and we got the long nose pliers. So what we're going to show you is how to adjust your camber. So what we're going to do here, we're going to move it out. So if you come over to this side and we just focus through that side, if you want to adjust your camber, there's two ways you can turn the actual caster washer. So you're going to see me turn it here. And you're going to see what it does there. See, it's moving up and then vice versa going downwards. So all from this movement, you can actually adjust the angle there. But remember, we want to stay in the middle now. So we're going to stay where those two dots are. Let me just give you a little lesson here on camber. So to go negative camber, you're going to basically be doing this with the wheels. So it's going to be using more of the inside. If we go positive, it's going to be going like that. So we're going to be using the whole wheel. It's very important to check your tires and make sure you're using your whole wheel. So when your spacers are pinched like we have here, where it's making the one area a little bit lower than the other, you can see that one's round about on -1, and then this side is basically perfect there. You can see it's on the 0 where we want it, basically a little bit above, but there'll always be a little bit of tolerance on these Tillotsons. So what we're going to do here, come over, here's my assistant Tian. So what he's going to do is he's basically going to just push on it down, so it's going to get the place perfect there on 0. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to then tighten over here. So hold it down for me, Tian. So what this is doing is it's shifting the washers into the correct position. On a lot of other carts, you won't have to do this like the RPKs, but with these we do. So there, lekker tight. Now if you come through to this side, we can see there, it's basically on the 0, a little bit below. But like I said, there will be a little bit of tolerance on these. If you look on this side, it's just a little bit above. But that's how we're doing the alignment. So if you want to move it in the other directions, just like I showed you a bit earlier, you'll be adjusting this washer. Enjoy. Alright, so now that we're done, we can basically get started on the tightening. But let me just show you how it's turned out here. You can see this one, as we were going for the half out and neutral, slightly above 1, I mean slightly above 0, but it's still good. And if you come around this side, you're going to have the exact same thing on this side, on that 0 mark. So basically, that is how we do alignment. We're just going to now focus on tightening everything up and grabbing that 12 and 13. So as we're closing out here, back to our trusted 12 and 13. So it's very important that you get this right. When you come in here, you can see, remember, we're all the way out here, so we're going to be tightening it up. But we need both of these to be in the same place. So you'll see we'll push them both down because that's in the direction that we're tightening. You can see that tightening up, and then you can see this tightening up. So the whole idea here is to have this nice and free. So if you look on this side, we've already tightened it, very nice and free there. If you don't do that, it's not going to move and flex nicely when you're turning, and eventually it's going to just lock up. So yeah, let me tighten that for you. Have a quick look here. Remember, we lack it down there. We can double check on that side. Still perfect on the lasers. And then if you go to this side, remember 12 on this actual tie rod, and then the 13 is going to be on the nut. So that's why I'm stupid, because I put them the wrong way. But yeah, back to it. There we go, on it nicely, boom. That's nice and tight. And then the exact same thing for the other side here. But obviously you're going to need to get a little bit of reach here. So 12 on the tie rod, 13 on the nut, and lacquer tight. And if you look there, full range of motion. If we look back through to that side, perfectly half toe out and neutral. So that is how you do camber, wheel alignment, and toe on a Tillotson kart.